Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today, and this is another Thomas Nelson RSV, but this one is a large print. The one I showed you before was more of a standard kind of, mid-size Bible. This one is definitely a larger, definitely a larger full-size Bible. So I want to go ahead and give you a review of this one. Now this one is pretty rare. I have not seen them come across eBay very often at all. This is the only one that I've seen, and I was able to snatch it up. But I'll show you maybe kind of a way that you can recognize it if somebody's posting limited pictures. But certainly this is the one to look out for if you like the RSV, but prefer either a larger print size or if you prefer more of a Cambridge layout with center column references. And I'll have a couple comparisons for you later on in the video here. Let's get started. I'll show you the front here. You have Holy Bible in the front. It is debossed in the cover with a little bit of gold foil. There is a perimeter line around the edge there. You'll see mine's a little scuffed up, but that's okay. That just means it was well used and well loved, hopefully. On the spine here, you'll see the perimeter line continues. Then you have Holy Bible references, Revised Standard Version, and Nelson there on the back, and some little kind of pressed spine ribs. They're, you can feel them, but they don't pop up very much, and that's all right. Then on the back, it's clean. There's nothing. You have a nice red under gold art gilt right there. And then on the bottom, and you can see that there is one red ribbon. This is like just like a fabric ribbon. Well, it's like a single-sided ribbon. I'll flip it over here. You might be able to see it's a little shiny on one side. Yeah, so it's a single-sided ribbon, and it's kind of on the thinner side. Like it's thick, but it's narrow, and that's all right. I mean, for these older Bibles, it's about what you can expect. It's a nice quality one for these older Bibles, certainly. Then we can see that there is red and gold head and tail bands, and when we open it up, I'll show you the corner work for whatever that's worth. Some very, very small corners there, kind of folded over. Nicely done. And the inside, we have a paste down construction, and it is paper paste down. So paper on both sides here. It's a little bit thicker of a paper, and it is kind of textured to mimic that kind of those like Morocco leather liners they used to use back in the day. So the paper does have a little bit of texture. I'll go ahead and get into it here. First page, you have the presentation page, the Holy Bible presented to. And you have the title page here. It's pretty easy to read because this is such a large edition. So we have the Holy Bible, Revised Standard Edition, containing the Old and New Testaments. And you guys can read the rest there. Feel free to pause it. Some more copyright information here on the copyright page. We'll let it focus, and then I'll pause so you guys can read it. And then it goes into the preface right after that. This is the preface for the RSV, just gives you a little explanation of it. I would certainly recommend reading it if you guys have not. Always read the preface if you guys are starting a new translation. Just gives you a little bit of a feeling for what the translators were intending there. And you have a foreword to the reference edition. And this one explains kind of how the references work throughout this edition. Then you have the names and order of the books of the Old Testament and the New Testament. Explanation of the abbreviations for any footnotes. The Old Testament page. And then the first book of Moses, commonly called Genesis. And you can see here the type is very large, nice and readable. And then it does have, like I said, center column references. And there are footnotes at the bottom here. They do page numbers in the middle, and we'll turn a page so you can see kind of what you'd normally be looking at, I guess. But they do page numbers at the middle of the bottom of the page. They do the book name and the chapter number on the outer corners, and then in the gutter they have like a quick little synopsis or a quick little kind of heading there just to let you know what's going on. There are chapter numbers that are fairly large, which makes it nice. And we'll go ahead and see what size font this is. I did not measure it before, so I'll measure it now. And it looks to be, I'm going here off this B. It looks to be, it looks to be maybe about an 11.5. So like an 11.5 for the caps versus the Times New Roman. And then I'll take a look at the lowercase, and we'll assume it's probably going to be close to about the same. And there's the M. Yep, it's about the same, about an 11 point. Between 11.5 and a 12. It's probably a little closer for the lowercase letters, probably about a 12. a 12-point font in comparison to Times New Roman. So not a bad size. That's a great size for reading, and certainly, you know, if you have older eyes and it's getting harder to read that Pitt Minion, not that they offer the RSV in a Pitt Minion, but if it's getting harder to read those smaller fonts, this would be a great option. You can see that the pages have oxidized, and I mean, that's just come to be expected. I don't think that this is an India paper that Thomas Nelson was using back then. I could be mistaken. Certainly, if anybody knows, feel free to correct me. We'll just give it a quick little read through. But because it's, you know, because it's not India paper, you know, they tend to oxidize. But I don't really mind the yellow color. I think it looks nice, just given the fact that it's a vintage Bible. I love the way that the pages smell once they start oxidizing like this. So I rather enjoy this kind of creamy yellow look of these older papers. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Let's hope the camera can pick it up there and try and show that the ghosting is very minimal on this paper. There is some ghosting, but it's very, very, very minimal. And I don't know that there is line matching. I'm trying to look and see. I guess there would be, because there's no headings in the text, so there's no kind of like uneven spacing. So I guess there is some, you know, something of line matching. I don't know if it was on purpose or what. And here you can kind of see that there's like the line on the opposite page, so it's not really matched up too great as far as like left to right, but top to bottom it's pretty spot on. So we'll flip through and let's go to the Poetic Books. Now this is a double column, obviously paragraph edition, so it is laid out quite nicely. And let's see, I think if I remember correctly, yeah, the Poetic Books have kind of a poetic layout, which is nice. Instead of the lines just kind of breaking and being kind of all in line again, it kind of, you know, indents them a little bit if it's the same, kind of on the same line of poetry there. Very nice. Very nice. I love this layout. This has been one of my favorite finds. I love buying vintage Bibles, and this truly has been one that I have been super stoked to find. Very excited once I got it. I was pleasantly surprised. I actually thought it was kind of the standard edition that I'm going to compare it to here in a minute. But I thought it was that, and when I got it, I was blown away. I was like, what is this? But I was super excited to get it, and super pleased with it. So let's go to the New Testament. We'll check and see if this is a red letter. I don't think that the RSV typically is a red letter. So I don't believe that this is red letter. But we see here Malachi, the end of the Old Testament. And then we get to the family record. Not filled out, still clean, births, marriages. And this is kind of a little bit of a gold kind of ink. That's very pretty. Deaths, and then you have your New Testament and the Gospel according to Matthew. We'll go to my favorite red letter section. If it is red letter, would be 5 and 6. And we don't see any red letter there. So it is a black letter edition. And we'll continue on towards the end. Let's flip through this way. And we'll get to Revelation. Whoop, too far. Now, I think in standard RSV fashion, they really never did much as far as, like, or at least with the editions that I have, they haven't really done anything as far as concordance or dictionaries at the end of them. They're usually pretty clean. They wrap up. We can see the model number here is a VR 262. So I don't know, maybe vertical reference. I don't know. Again, if you know, please feel free to chime in. But we do have the maps here, and these are on matte map paper. So very nice, easy to read. Very nice, easy to read, and easy to mark on if you are so inclined. It's a thicker paper than the Bible paper. It does have Overcast stitching on the front and the back. So you can see there that little line. I love to showcase that, but this is very well done. So you have the kind of the exterior line here, and that's the Overcast stitching. And then on the inside you have, you know, it's Smyth Sewn construction, which is pretty standard for Bibles, even back then. So we'll go through these few maps. And then we wrap up here. There's another code here. And I would imagine this, help if I was in frame. Again, I'm not sure if it says here, it says EFC 6807. So I'm not sure if this was the 7th month of 1968 or when it was produced. I would imagine that might be a safe bet, but you know, I'm not a betting man, so so no comment there. All right, so that is the Bible. I'm going to compare it to the other one that I've already done a review on, and this you can already see how much it dwarfs it. This is the other RSV that I already did a review on, and this is the, I guess it'd be maybe like a hand size or a mid-size Bible, and this is an excellent edition as well. And I would imagine that Thomas Nelson kind of did these as a matching pair because they are very similar. But you can see the size difference here between the two. It is quite substantial. I would say an inch in this dimension and then probably an inch and a half or 2 inches in this dimension. So it is pretty substantial. The grain in the leather is very similar between the two. It's that just very nice textured grain for the genuine leather. And then I'll show you here on the spine. And this was the easy way for me to tell that there was a difference here, is that this one says references on the spine. So if the person taking photos for eBay doesn't post very many images, the references would be the key giveaway there. And you can see it's quite a bit bigger, goodness. And we'll compare the text as well. Move this guy over. We'll take a look here. Now this one kind of has more of a Schuyler layout with all your references at the bottom. And this one again has center references, but you can tell just the darkness of the font versus this, and then also the size is considerably better on this one. So if you're looking for like a true reader, or just something that's very, very easy to read, I might go with this one. Again, this is more of a reader layout. I said that in the review. This is more of a reader layout. But this one's going to be certainly a substantial amount easier to read, just given the nature and the darkness and the size of the font. So the next one that I'm going to compare it to, I guess the last one that I'm going to compare it to, is a Cambridge turquoise. Get this one out of the way. Whoop. So this is a Cambridge turquoise. And you can see, this one is substantially bigger even than a Cambridge turquoise. And a Cambridge turquoise is, I don't think anybody would not call this a full-size Bible. And this is even bigger than that. So we'll take a look. Let me line them up here. You can see a size comparison for them. Probably about a half an inch on each dimension. It's a beefy boy. And we'll go ahead and compare the inside of it. So there's the RSV. We'll open up this turquoise. There we go. Now, obviously, the paper on this edition is considerably wider, given the fact that this is so old, plus that, I don't think, again, this is India paper. There is going to be some yellowing. It's not going to be quite as bright as this paper. But the opacity is better, or they're about even, actually, come to think of it. This one looks just a hair better as far as opacity is concerned. But you can see the darkness is pretty similar. This one's just probably a slight bit darker, but the font size is pretty similar. And just the, the read, I guess, would be pretty similar. The layout's pretty similar. You have your center column references. You have your books on the outer edge. You have your little, So the layout is very similar to a Cambridge Bible. So if you are a fan of the Cambridge layout, I would certainly recommend trying to pick up one of these. But good luck. Good luck finding one. So, let me close up here. So that is my review for this large print Thomas Nelson RSV reference edition with center column references. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Otherwise, I will talk to you later, Bible buddies. Bye!